sitting to yourself going, where is Michael McDaniel? I will say this. If you see him, tell him I said, no, not really. Michael be back soon. He is experiencing his daughter playing some volleyball right now and is taking time to enjoy that, as she is also a member of the Oklahoma City Public Schools family. But tonight on the show, ladies and gentlemen, we start off talking about a little bit of championship skill and talent. We've got the ladies from Southeast High School's volleyball team, Lady Spartans in the house. And then later on tonight, we will be talking football with the Red Wolves of Capitol Hill a little bit later on. But ladies and gentlemen, right now at the conversation table this evening, displaying the wonderful trophy, medals, and jerseys we have on here, the Lady Spartans. I am joined by students Luisa Talavera and Cecilia Aguirre. Did I get it right?
Yes, you did.
Okay, and of course, Coach Valerie Bryant on the outside there. Coach Bryant, congratulations, first of all, on winning the title last year. You guys are already into your new season, so it's difficult to go back and talk because it's about focusing right now. But can you tell me a little bit about the success and what made last year's team so successful?
Last year's team, we had a lot of girls who played club and had played together since they were in middle school, and they just gelled really well together, and they showed great leadership. And this year we have a different group here, not very many left from the varsity squad that's played for me for 4 years, so they're learning. But it was just last year they just gelled together and they had more experience.
Well, see, I'm jealous. I didn't get a chance to experience and talk to the champions at that time. So I gotta, I have to look at the breadcrumbs and read it and get it from you in terms of how that went. In terms of getting a team together to compete at that level, a championship level, it takes chemistry also, but how long before those ladies last year bought into making it happen?
At Southeast, it seems like every 6 years we have someone go to state. I have our team go to state. So it starts in the middle school, and they play together in the middle school, and then when they get to the high school level, they know each other. They know who's their weaknesses, their strengths, and they just gel together. And they have that championship mentality from the middle school coaches that they had there. And they're just passionate about volleyball. I tell them when they come play for Southeast, you got to love it. You got to love volleyball. And, they just didn't want to leave the floor. They was there. They were there early, and they mentored the other players on the team, and they just love playing volleyball.
I can tell. And, folks, before the show started today, I had a chance to talk to Miss Luisa Talavera. Only reason I'm going to bring her in first before we talk to Cecilia here is when I had an opportunity to talk to her, she walked right up to me. Hello, how are you? And didn't waste any time. This is a part of that energy that the coach is talking about. You played for the team, 4-year starter for the program. Luisa, tell me about your experience with that championship team last year.
It was amazing. I've played with some of the girls since elementary, so we really had that chemistry, that bond. We were just really driven. I know last year we just had that one goal of we want to win regionals, we want to go to state, and that's what we did, essentially.
The most challenging part of last season would have been what?
I think for me personally, it was just my injury. I had an injury. It really knocked me out a little, but the team, they were able to come back from the little setbacks that we had, and they were able to work together and essentially just make a good, what's the word?
Well, no, you had made good on the promise that you guys, ladies,
Yes.
had made to yourselves. Now, I'm going to get to Cecilia in just a second, but I have one more question. When you won the match, when the final match, tell me about, the set play leading to the match, winning that match.
It was.
What you can remember.
It was like fireworks coming out of everybody. We were just very excited. I remember running to the floor and all of us just literally crying of happy tears.
Joy.
Yeah, joy.
Adulation, all of that. Okay.
Yes.
So now you have to teach and be the leader now to show young athletes like Miss Cecilia Aguirre what to do and how you accomplish that goal. Cecilia, you came into this program right after they won, what was this is getting indoctrinated into the program or choosing this? What made you feel like now was the time to go ahead and get in?
That's a good question. I just really love the energy that they bring and how everyone can get along, and it's just a safe space for everyone, and it definitely was for me when I first joined.
Where did your love for volleyball start?
It started when me and my dad would play outside with the volleyball. Like, I was very young, and because of COVID, I barely got to start playing in school around 8th grade.
Okay, so that where it took off from there, and so now into the season, here we are now. The team has obviously got to go through some learning, got to figure some things out. Where do you feel you are? I think what is the official record for the team right now?
4-8.
4-8. So you ladies are, I think, with the midway point. What, September is middle of September is for the season. So where do you feel the team is right now?
We're definitely getting there. Like, I'm very proud of everyone, especially because everyone shows progress every day, and I love seeing it.
Go back to you, Louisa. When it comes to getting the ladies to not necessarily buy in, but understand, because it's not a matter of everyone not trying. Once you win something, everybody's, let me show you what I can do. How do you get everybody to get comfortable in their role?
I think just team bonding. Before the season even starts, we have our summer league, and we just get together and we just talk about like what our goals are, and then leading up to our practices, we set goals for each other. Before a game, I tell my girls, like, text me what goal you have for the game or what you want to do. So just preparing them like in the mindset of like whatever happens, just as long as you give it your all, that's all that matters.
Coach Bryant, I see what you call the, I want to say motherly, because that's what it's reminding me of. You're hearing the player say the things. It makes it real easy for you when you have someone like Louisa who can help the other players understand. This is a transition year, meaning you won the title. What kind of goals had you set so far, and where do you think this team is in that path right now?
I said, well, the first goal was to win All City, and each time we feel that we can win a tournament. There's a lot of new players that hadn't played at the varsity level, so we're trying to get them acclimated to that point, and it takes time, but we're just midway, and we can only get better at this point. But I just, they just come in, they work hard every day. I have to be patient. It's been a while since I've been in this position before, but I have excellent assistant coaches that help me out, and team captains like Louisa, and I have another team captain, 2 others that really has taken over the role. I let my senior class, we have a meeting before. I said, what do y'all want to do? What are your goals? What do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish? Because this is your year. What do you want to do for the team? And they assume that responsibility, and they take the team and they build on it. They reach out to them and kind of show them what it is to be play for Southeast.
I love what Cecilia said earlier about the culture that has been established and the team. She's first year in, but yet she can see it. So when Cecilia steps up and says, I'm in, then it just seems to go through every player. So let's get a little deeper here. When we start talking about that, how is the community? First of all, let's tell everybody what positions that you play. Cecilia, what position do you play?
I am a DS.
Okay, DS, and that is?
Just a back row player.
Okay,
Defense.
that's fine. That's fine. Defense, that's fine. I just, every team has their own terminology for what they use. I just want to make sure. Louisa?
I am a middle hitter.
Okay, a middle hitter. Okay, all right. So where would you ladies say the communication is on the team? Because it requires effective communication. When the ball, when the ball is set over the net, how do you communicate, or if they're targeting something, how do you make adjustments on how they're trying to score? So talk to me a little bit about that communication.
We mainly just stare at each other, but we definitely do communicate, but there are times where we don't, but we just know. Like we
Okay.
connect that way.
So, in other words, this is starting, this communication that you're talking, the nonverbal is starting in practice. That's what, is that the best way for me to describe that? If not, that's fine. Okay, Louisa, give me your impression of that question.
For the varsity, I feel like we have that connection where it's mostly like if we let a ball drop, we are like, okay, like we know the next time, like they're gonna hit it to us, so we prepare. I think our communication is really good just because we've been playing since middle school together, so we just kind of know how we roll. But like Cecilia said, there are some times where we do let the ball drop and we're just like, what happened? But the good thing is that we like know like, okay, we know what happened, so let's fix it, and we help each other like build each other up, where we know like, okay, they're gonna serve it here again, so let's make sure we don't let the ball drop.
Yeah, one it comes down to is reacting to the strategy that plays. Obviously, coach is going to tell you that, but mental toughness, because when you fall behind and and those points can roll against you. I mean, it can happen real quick. Talk to me about the mental toughness it requires to play your sport.
I think people undermine like the mental toughness you have to have for this sport. Sometimes it's you mess up one time and the other team notices and then they just pick on you, so it can really lower your mental state. So it's always like I always tell my girls like breathe. It's not just a physical sport, it's a mental sport, so make sure you know like you toughen up a little, and however way as a team we can help you lift you up, so if they pick on you it doesn't happen again, because it can get very stressful, especially when it's like the 24 to 24. It's like that 1 point, the 2 points. It gets very stressful, and it can be overwhelming. So, it takes a lot like mental discipline for this sport, I would say.
Cecilia, talk to me about your learning in this process to all the pedigree of the things that they have accomplished. How important is consistency in this sport, you would say?
It is very important because once you fall behind, it takes a lot to catch up on. And the consistency, you just have to be there. You have to put in your time and effort, and also like put in your own time, not only like when everyone is around, but definitely your consistency depends on you. It does not depend on anyone else.
Coach Bryant, when you have versatile players, it allows you to adapt to things in real time. So talk to me about the decision process on adapting to teams. Some teams come in, have taller ladies. Some of them have a lot more of the power game. Some of them are really good on the defensive side of defending that and then communicating. How do you get the ladies to adapt based upon the strategy that's being brought to you?
Normally when I look at film or we look at the opposite team, we try to find their weakness, and we try to tell them where we want the ball to be served and how to hit in certain spots and certain areas so that we can get points, because we're not very tall. So we have to really be very creative, and every time we touch the ball. I say every time we get the ball is very important. So we have to pick our times, pick our places, so that we can score. And the main thing is that we have to stick together. And you touched on the communication, and I've touched on that since day one of practice, that we have to talk. We have to communicate with each other. We got to have that bond that we know each other's weaknesses and our strengths. So, yes, you got to come up with a plan.
You mentioned interesting about studying film. Obviously, the coach's part of the job is studying film.
Yes.
Have you been able to teach these ladies the importance of that studying of the film? Go ahead, Louisa. You got the. He's like, oh yeah.
I'm like, yeah. After a game, because our games are live streamed, so as soon as like I get home, I'm watching the game we just played like 5 minutes ago. So yeah, watching the film has always been very important before we go to a tournament or before we play an opponent. Knowing being able to know who we play. I'm like looking on Huddle. Oh, the team. Let me find their plays, who they play, and it's very important. And I think it's definitely helped us out in the season. Just that way, whenever we go on the court, we're like, okay, this person right here, we haven't even seen them play yet. We're like, this person right here, this number does this and that, and I think it's very vital.
Now, Cecilia, I want to come back to you. The record of your team, 4-8, is not always, the record doesn't always tell the story. A lot of times people make it, oh, you're not very good, or you're not this, or you haven't accomplished that. This team isn't as good as others. But I always have believed that I'm as good as the last game we played or the last match we played. Where do you feel this team is in terms of being able, as you say, put it all together where you're seeing everybody doing this wonderful dance of being in unison?
We're in a good place. We're definitely improving, and after every game, we definitely play better, have more energy.
So is the biggest improvement energy, you'd say?
Definitely. Energy is definitely a big part of being on the court because once your energy is shot down, you stay there, and it's hard to bring yourself back up because you're just mainly focused on getting the point and just trying not to mess up. But that
Okay.
also does take a toll on
Okay,
someone.
that's fair. Now, let me ask you this. Now, do you have another level? You are a wonderful individual I just had an opportunity to meet and talk to. Is this the same person that walks into a volleyball court when it's game time? Yes, yes, yes. Tell the truth now.
Okay, I don't know about that. Because, like Luisa said, it's very important to have to be at a good mental state. And there are times that I do struggle, but there are times where, no, I do not feel the same way as I do right now. But definitely going into the game and seeing how my team and how happy we get, that for sure boosts like everything up, and I feel definitely way better. And like all my anxiety is off. It's nothing to be afraid of, and I just have that good attitude.
Just let the hair flow?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly, yeah.
You should have seen her last week. Yes, on Thursday she had
Uh-oh.
a green wig on.
Oh, okay. Now, Louisa, I know, and I have not had the pleasure of seeing you play in a match, but it's something about your personality just is telling me that game days, that if they want to know who's in the building, they don't need to look too far to identify you. Tell me, where does that passion at that moment, that energy come from? Is that something that you learned from the teams that you've played on before, or is that just something that you feel that helps you accomplish what you need to in a game?
I would say all of it. Just since I was very little, I've grown up seeing my sister play volleyball, and that has always just seen the way I would see her get like hyped for a game has always been like, oh, like I want to be like that. I want to get that excited for a game. And then with my experiences in the past teams that I played, I noticed that, the way you walk into the building with the confidence and the energy that you have, it can tell a lot about like the team. So I always try to bring that energy, like even if I'm scared, I'm like, no, like we got it. Somebody has to have that certainty, like we're gonna do good, we're gonna like do fine. And I think that's why every game I'm just like, yeah, like let's go, like I'm excited.
Coach, to me, you seem to have. I'm reading between the lines here. Are you a coach that believes that you practice like you play?
Yes,
Okay.
most definitely.
So, ladies, I want you to tell the truth. Is the practice harder than the games itself, the matches itself, would you say?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, the practices. Our coaches want us to go above and beyond, and they push us. They want us to succeed. So they push us in a good way. That way, whenever we step on the floor for a game, it's like, okay, like I'm ready. Like I don't have to worry about like the uncertainty, because I know in the practices we went hard and we did good thanks to them pushing us. And so whenever we step on the floor, it's like, okay, like
It's those what-if moments, because during a game, it may seem one way or the other, but that what-if moment, if you've practiced it, then it just naturally comes to you. Is that something that you've been able to see so far, Cecilia?
Yes, definitely. But I'd say, I'd mainly say, but with practices, sometimes there are times where we're not at our best. But when it comes to games, we are the best that we could be, especially like against tough opponents. like our
Who's the
rivals.
toughest opponent you've played this year so far?
Santa Fe South.
Santa Fe South, okay. And you say that looking at Louisa like, okay, we got to get another shot at them. Okay, that's fine. I just had to ask that. Louisa, as we're starting to run out of time, believe it or not, it's actually gone quick. Tell me something that Coach Bryant has said in those difficult moments that has really motivated you to continue to push forward. Was there a moment in the season after a tough loss or a tough match or a tough set where it didn't quite go that she said something to the team?
I think for me, I tend to overthink a lot, and I'm sure some of my teammates do. And sometimes after we lose a set, coach is really good at saying, like, forget about that game. Like, what happened. You can't switch it. You can't change it. So just focus on this game and just giving it your all. And I know it may seem like it's nothing, but like when you're in that situation, it means a lot.
Oh,
like
it's
your
a
coach
ton.
your coach not being mad or anything that you just lost that set, but instead being like, okay, that happened, so it's a new game. Like, give it your all. And it's a new set.
That's great that she has that unique ability to do that during the game. Don't worry, she'll make up for it at practice. Coach Bryant, to the fans and the school administration that has supported this volleyball program, is there anything you'd like to say to the fans, the families, the parents that have been that have helped this program be at this top level that it has been? And I'm sure there's some moments where you thought you might have to, and the parents or administration stepped up to support what you're doing.
The administration at Southeast are really great. They have stood behind
You can
this
say his name.
program.
You can say Curtis.
Shout out, coach.
Yeah, Coach Thompson.
Yeah.
He's been with me for a lot, coached with him, and he's really helped the team. Always positive, always backing us, whatever you need, Coach. As far as all of the family, they have given me support. I really don't have too many. They're just supporters. They come. Mentioning that next week, we have our first alumni game. I've got alumni coming in to support. We just get support everywhere. They just love volleyball, and I am so proud to have spent my last 19 years coaching Southeast volleyball.
Congratulations,
yes,
Coach. Congratulations.
Yes.
The most important game is the next one. Tomorrow
Yes.
you have a game against the Lady Trojans.
Yes.
What will it take, Coach, to win that game?
All we have to do is work together. Work together, communicate, and do what we do best. Work hard, hit our serves, talk to each other, and we should be okay. And our worst enemy sometimes is ourselves. But if we don't keep that out of the equation and we help each other and support each other, we should be fine. We should be able to win.
Louisa, is that a road or is it at home? Is it at Southeast or is it at Douglas?
It's at Douglas.
It's at Douglas.
Yes,
Okay.
this whole
Okay.
week we have away games. Our next home game is next Tuesday, I believe.
Okay. So when you take the floor tomorrow night as the senior, of course, seniors lead out. They have to lead out. What will be the message to the team as you get ready for the next match? Because that's the next most important match is the next one.
Yes.
Give it your all. That's all I can say. Each game is just as important as the next one. So let's finish this game strong, and let's prepare for whatever's next.
Cecilia, as we get ready to go, my final question of the night is actually going to you. From the game that you said, Santa Fe South, that one, what's something that the team needs to do tomorrow night to get the win? What is that thing that we must do? Is it defense? Is it communicate? What is it we must do tomorrow night for Southeast to get that win?
It'll always be communication, because sometimes when we're too into the game, we just forget and we just play. Like, there's not much that we say out of our mouths, but definitely communication, and I think we'll be just okay. We'll be
Okay,
fine,
so
definitely.
if we talk, we're going to be all right.
Yeah.
Okay, Coach said that already. So, folks, this is the 2022 ACAC Lady Volleyball Champions. It's the Southeast Spartans, Lady Spartans, I should say. And you're listening to the Oklahoma City Public School Coaches Show. Sponsored by Dick's Sporting Goods, Bedford Photography, Big O's Pork and Dreams, Impressions Printing, Metrotech Technology Centers, Kai's Concept, Perry Publishing and Broadcasting, and the Oklahoma City Dodgers Foundation. We'll be right back It's time to get dirty with the Red Wolves. That's coming up next on The Coaches Show. We'll be back in a minute.
If you're hiring and you feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack, you can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
O'Reilly. Protect your engine with Syntec Full Synthetic Motor Oil at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec is designed for today's engines to dissipate heat and reduce friction and wear. Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $33.99, plus 2 times O Rewards points. Limits apply. Choose Syntec exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This Labor Day at the Home Depot, we're rolling out store-wide savings, like a new lower price of $99 on the Ryobi One Plus 18-volt 2-tool kit, because we see long weekends as an opportunity to power up your projects. With the One Plus battery system that works on over 280 products and counting. All driving you to do more this Labor Day at the Home Depot. Get the Ryobi One Plus 18-volt 2-tool kit for a new low price of $99. The Home Depot. How doers get more done.
For over a century, AM radio has evolved to meet the needs of our community. More than 80 million listeners depend on AM radio each month. It's also the backbone of the emergency alert system, keeping us safe in dangerous times. A new bill in Congress would ensure this free, reliable service remains in cars. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress to support the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Are you looking to rent a car? Better yet, do you need to rent a car but don't want to go through the hassle? If you said yes, let the professionals at A Plus Rent a Car put you in a rental vehicle today. They have low rates, and the only requirements to rent a vehicle is you must be at least 21 years of age with a valid license, utility bill, and lease. Deposits are as low as $100. That's it. Low daily and weekly rental rates are available and great cars to choose from. A Plus Rent a Car is located at 2906 Northwest 23rd Street in Oklahoma City. Check out our website at apluscarental.com or call 405-602-0000. That's 405-602-0000 for A Plus Rent a Car. They accept cash, debit, prepaid, and credit cards.
The best place to be for every Sooner home game is CBS pregame at Pepe de Gatto's on Campus Corner in Norman. 2 hours before every home kickoff. Get the latest news, the hottest storylines, and predictions with me, James Hale, and Jay Swick. Come and grab a cold drink and the food you need before kickoff. Then after the game, join us immediately for CBS postgame. Jay Swick and the great Thomas Lott will join us at Pepe's for a reaction to the game, along with your phone calls and comments while you're eating and enjoying the great authentic Mexican food at Pepe's, located at 786 Asp Avenue in Norman. They'll have a great game day special every week. It's CBS pre and post game, every home Oklahoma Sooner game with me, James Hale, Jay Swick, and the great Thomas Lott. It's football, food, and fun at Pepe's on your home for CBS Sports Radio 105.3 FM HD1.
Okay, guys, so this is what we need to do real quick. All right, so Brian, talk to me a little bit. Give me a little bit of a level.
I'm back.
Okay, that's fine. Is it too loud? Not loud enough. Okay, good. All right, Sergio.
Check the mic.
Okay, that's.
Sorry, I've always wanted to see something.
Okay,
like
this is the personality, right?
Yeah,
here.
it is.
Okay.
That's why we brought it.
Okay, all right. Get some of that energy.
Yeah, got you.
Okay, all right. That's all I need for now. I'm letting you guys hear the background of the stage.
This game be the one they say enough is enough. Don't forget the big show halftime battle of the bands and a post-game concert with Chrisette Michelle. The
2023 State Fair Classic, presented by Chevy. Saturday, September 30th. One ticket, 7 major events. Sponsored in part by the City of Dallas, Dallas Sports Commission, Golden Chick, Methodist Hospital, and Chevy. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com. The 2023 State Fair Classic.
And we are back, the Oklahoma City Public School Coaches Show. Oh, yeah. Sponsored by Dick's Sporting Goods, Bedford Photography, Big O's Pork and Dreams, Impressions Printing, Metro Tech Technology Center, Kai's Concepts, Perry Publishing and Broadcasting, and the Oklahoma City Dodgers Foundation. I am your host for this week. I am Maurice Prince, of course, in for the one and only Michael McDaniel. You will hear from him very shortly and soon. But in the meantime, we're going to move on into the show. It's time to start talking about my favorite sport. Nothing quite says it other than the word itself. It's a beautiful word. It says football. It's the time of the year where the wives miss the husbands for at least 5 to 6 months out of the year. We hope to come out sometime in late January, early February. But right now, this is probably the most purest form of the sport right now, and that's high school football. So I'm joined with me at the desk tonight. We're talking with the Capitol Hill Red Wolves, and joining me at the table this evening, I have Coach, I want to make sure I got his name right, Coach Clay Sizemore, along with student athletes Sergio Loretto and Brian Hines. Guys, good evening to you, and welcome to the show. How you doing this evening?
Doing well.
Yeah,
good.
Thanks for having us out.
No,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you. So, Coach Sizemore, you know, the Red Wolf program is a program that is in what we call in the stages of in transition. It is a program that is being rebuilt block by block, brick by brick. And it's one of those type of programs where you need to show everyone not only how to execute at the level, but get everybody in tune to do this. How are we doing that?
A lot of it's bringing excitement around the program, building relationships with kids. You know, we've grown numbers every single year. And it's the direction our whole school's going. Our administration is making huge improvements to the school as a whole. Every athletics program is getting better, and it's just kind of changing that culture of best effort, best attitude, showing up every day, putting in the work.
Yeah, that's the most important part, is you have to do that. You have to, when you're building it, and I mean building a wall, it's really a brick-by-brick process. So let me ask you, what is the most important thing you try to convey to the athletes as you are building this?
All the time we talk about loyalty, teamwork, great effort, and great attitude, and we hound them about it all the time. We bring it up, and it's got to be in everything we do. We push them to be great in the classroom, to act right in the hallways. You know, if you got a job after school, go be great in that job. We're going to be great in everything we do and build that habit.
He sounds like a coach, guys. I don't know, but he sounds like a coach. He sounds like he's a coach of young men. So, Brian, I'll come to you first before I let Sergio talk, because Sergio is Mr. Smooth over here. We're going to talk.
He already
talk
knows.
about it. So, Brian, you play linebacker and tight end for this team right now. So, the love of football, where did it start for you?
It just started watching football in the garage with my dad and my uncles, watching the 49ers. I'm a big 49ers fan.
Oh, gosh. So are you happy Trey Lance is gone?
I'm not happy about it. I mean, I like Purdy a little more, but, you know, I like Lance too.
Okay. All right. So, Sergio, of course, quarterback, linebacker for the team.
Yes,
The love for football and the passion for it, where did it come from?
Man, like, I would like to say the same thing, except not in the garage with my dad and them, but, like, we'd always, like, made sure to watch the Cowboys game on Sunday. Like, no matter who would, like, even when they was, like, in their roughest time, you know, we'd always
When was that not? When were they not in the roughest time? I'm sorry. Did I let the Cowboy hate show? I'm sorry.
That's crazy. Nah, I'm just kidding.
No,
yeah,
seriously.
like 2015, like, kind of, like, towards that time, I kind of fell in love with it, you know, because I've always watched it with my dad and that, and, you know, like, that was kind of our thing, you know, like, as, like, me, my brother, and my dad, that was always our one thing to do, was just, like, watch the game, you know, and, like, once I kind of seen, like, the things and the stuff that we would do, you know, I'd be like, man, you know, like, I kind of want to play, see how it is, see if I like it, like, you know, and things like that. And once I kind of played it, I kind of just fell in love with it. And then from then on, it was just like everything, like, it was kind of just like football for me, really.
Now, at every position, there's always a story on why you fell in love with it.
Yeah.
Now, this gentleman here was just like me, Mr. Hines. I played tight end and linebacker in high school. And for a quarterback, there's always this golden moment where you're like, you know what, QB might be my thing. Talk to me about that process, Sergio.
It's crazy because I was just talking to one of our receivers about this. So pretty much what happened was, like, I started playing Pee Wee, but I started at a receiver first. And then our quarterback, he was more of an athlete, so his dad had put him out at receiver. And he was just like, who wants to throw the ball, you know? And I was like, I'll give it a try, you know, like, why not? So once I kind of did that, I kind of just, like, threw it pretty decently. And they was telling me, like, man, you're kind of good at it. And I was like, yeah. So, like, since then, I kind of built on it a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. But I never really pursued it like that, like I am now, because I was more. That's what I came up playing first, and that's what I kind of wanted to play. But once I played quarterback a little bit, I kind of seen, like, you know, like, okay, I could do it. So I was just like, you know, let me just try a little harder on it and see where it takes me. And I like to say take me to good places, I like to say.
Interesting that you brought up the quarterback, the receiver to quarterback. So understanding route combinations and understanding on-ball placement kind of comes natural. So, Brian, tell me the story. Is it really the linebacker part or is it the tight end part? Come on, tell me the truth.
It's the tight end part.
Okay, it's the tight end part.
Yeah. This Niners have always had, like, a good tight end. You know, Vernon Davis, George Kittle. You know, George Kittle's the best tight end in the league.
I had a hard time disagreeing with you on that.
Just watching them and seeing how they play. And I was growing up, I always played left tackle, left guard. So it was easier to get, you know, slim down, you know, a little faster, play tight end.
Okay. Now, both of you guys play linebacker on the defensive side of the ball. Talk to me how the mentality, because a lot of athletes at high school sometimes have to play both ways. One moment you're on the offensive side of the ball, other times you're on the defensive side of the ball. Talk to me about the philosophy of the mental change that is required to do that, because, I mean, sometimes you can get hung up on, oh, I didn't make the throw, I didn't make the read, I didn't make the catch, I didn't make the block. Now I have to go on the other side and I have to make the tackle. I've got to do it. Talk to me about that.
You want to go first? You want to go first?
Oh, you go first.
I like to say, honestly, like, personally, I kind of don't like to dwell on the bad things, you know, because it's like, not only is it going to bring your confidence and, like, everything down, it's like you're also part of a team, you know, like, it's a team sport. So it's like, yeah, you can make a mistake and you could get mad at yourself for it. But at the same time, it's like, not only are you know what I'm saying, like, if you let it affect you, then you're letting it affect your team, you know. And it's just like, you can't let that happen as a player and as a teammate and as a brother, you know. Like, you want the best for the people that are around you, you know. So it's like, if you bring them down, then you're not doing what's best for them, you know. So that's why I feel like on the defensive side, like, yeah, I can miss a tackle or things like that, you know what I'm saying, then go back to a quarterback position and be like, man, you know, like, I did this wrong, I need to do this better, you know. But at the same time, sometimes I'm just like, you know, like, take a breath, you know, like, slow it down a little bit, understand that you're still kind of getting used to these different positions and doing these different things, you know. Like, playing both sides, it's exhausting, you know, but it's still a good thing because it's like, it's letting you know, like, they kind of have faith in that you could play these both positions, you know. So it's like, you kind of have to look at the good in things sometimes, you know. Like,
sure,
it may not be the best decision you did, you know what I'm saying, but at the same time, it's like, if you feel confident and comfortable with what you're doing, then I feel like the sky's the limit, you know.
All
So
right.
it's like, yeah, I guess.
That's a quarterback for you. They have a lot to say all the time.
Always. All the time, honestly. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
Talk to me about
kind of like what he said. You know, you gotta keep your head like a goldfish. You drop the pass, you gotta move on. If you don't, it lets the whole team down. You get in your own head. You miss that next tackle, allow a touchdown. You gotta get over it. Next play. It's always meant for me. You know.
Coach, when you hear these athletes respond to some of the questions that I've asked, one thing I can see is that the culture is getting stronger between the players. The union between the players is getting stronger, and they're playing with a lot of joy as they talk about their time. When it comes to you as that, do you want to see – not that you don't want to see. How do you want to see that continue to develop in terms of understanding now I can – you know, turn it up a little bit more. Don't take plays off. Now I can get past a couple of things. Again, there are always steps to this. So describe to me the camaraderie and then getting into the strategic part of it and in terms of X's and O's and execution, how this, what you're getting here, is the building block to that.
So right now we've got, I feel, the best set of leaders we've had since I've been there. And a lot of it is them teaching those leadership skills to the next kids coming up. We've talked a lot about leaving your legacy and the fact that we're an improving program. Regardless of what our record is this year, we're a better team than we were the year before. It's their job to leave a legacy to these next guys coming up. And I've got best coaching staff around, building relationships with these kids, making it fun. And right now we feel like our biggest element we're missing is confidence. And they all know they've gotten better, but then you get in that game, you know, it takes a minute to play with that kind of confidence. So that's kind of what we're pushing for right now. We feel like we know what we're doing. We just need to be confident in what we're doing.
In terms of that, guys, your coach is talking about building confidence. That comes in, of course, with winning, obviously. But how do you guys talk to each other on those plays and those sequences when it's not going your way? And how do you keep yourselves motivated to say, as you had said earlier, Sergio, keep positive, let go of that play, and let's win the next play? How do you do that?
Me personally, like, what I would do is I would talk to the receiver, like, what did you see? What do you think we could do a little bit better on the connection-wise to try to improve on that aspect that we're missing? You know, like, sometimes when the receivers would run the route and I wouldn't see them and they would be open, you know, they'd get, you know, like flushed and things like that, you know what I'm saying? So I'd like to go over there and talk to me, like, what did you see on this play? Like, you think you could beat them again? And things like that, just so that, like, they understand more about the game and things like that, you know? Like, trying to kind of understand what they're seeing too, you know, just so that I could get on the same page with them. If that makes any
Obviously.
sense. Yeah.
What do you feel about that, Brian?
You know, I think that – what's the question again?
Well, okay. Well, let's go to the next question. That's fine. That's fine. Because, again, the quarterback is answering 2 or 3 questions at once, so I have to keep going through
Throws you off.
Throws me off a little bit. So when you are struggling is what I was basically talking about. Something didn't go right. How do you help your fellow teammates get over those tough moments to get to the next play? Because football, unfortunately, once negative things kind of happen, it kind of snowballs. So how do you put your foot down and say, okay, guys, we understand. So now how do we move to the next situation?
Well, like, I feel like a lot of the guys look up to me. So if I'm, you know, being down and out in the game, they're going to think, you know, well, he's doing it, why shouldn't I? So I got to, like, you got to step up, got to be positive about it. Even when I am mad or I messed up on a play, you know.
What would be a good short-term goal for this team for the next game? You guys are up this week against, of course, I'm glad the Lady Spartans are gone, so because they had all their moment. Now you're going to play Southeast at Spiegel this week. So talk to me about what's a good short-term goal for that game. And again, something that the team should do better. If we're talking about winning, yes, you guys want to win the game. That's no question about that. That's why you play.
Yeah.
But what's a good short-term goal?
Well, you know, just getting the blocks, wrapping up on tackles, you know, little stuff like that. Cause
I mean, that's key because if you're not doing that, you can't win. So you have to put yourself in a position. So is that something in the first game that stood out to you guys? That's something that we have to do better?
Yeah, blocking, tackling, I feel like that was it. We had it. It was, you know, like coming back to confidence again. You know, first game, a lot of guys, you know, it went and scored, got the kick return, and they felt like it was repeated last year. They all, you know, that confidence dropped down to the floor again.
And the ghost of Christmas past come when the struggles show. I use that because that's what they did to Scrooge. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for out there anybody, but they put that over you, and then you can't seem to see out of it. So to me, it's always about finding that one good thing to build on. So to me, it's play by play, first down by first down. You put 10 of them together, guess what we got? We got a touchdown.
Yeah.
It's same thing on defense. If I can get the 3 and out, I just gave my team, another team, an opportunity. So to me, short-term goals are always based upon finding a positive building point, whether that's getting a turnover, forcing a turnover. It's just however it goes. Coach, is that a good way to assess this? Am I interpreting that correctly?
Yeah, and we looked at film and realized we made enough plays to give us confidence going into this next game. I mean, we saw what we could do at times, and then just at times, you know, you kind of lose your mind a little bit when things don't go well. So we need to handle adversity better, and because it's going to come up every single game. And we thought like we needed to improve our special teams quite a bit, tackling, like you said, just executing what we do. Southeast is a good team; they're well coached, but you know, if we play with confidence, we feel like we have a chance to compete in any game.
Right. You guys play in a gauntlet of a conference. That's where you guys are placed in 6A too. There's a lot of what we call, you know, I want to say junior college programs, the way they act. But when we start talking about getting your foothold in there, you guys have to get into the fight and stay in the fight. So in terms of something that you hope to accomplish in this game, Sergio, just one thing that you want to do better than you did last week, what would that one thing be?
Man, that's a good question. Let me think.
And if you need a moment,
Yeah.
here's your moment, Brian. take it, Brian. Take it while the quarterback's thinking.
I think that, you know, we get the runs off. I think if we get the runs, we'll win that game. I think our running back right now, Matthew Dixon, I think last year we had, you know, a really good running back. I feel like this year he's even better, you know, and I think if we can get those runs off, we win this game. Those runs, those blocks, I think it.
So it's the blocking on this game.
Yeah.
Coach, I don't want you to divulge game plan on the radio and on the tape. I'm sure Southeast is sitting there going, oh, really? That's what we're going. But my thought to you is the strongest part of the game that you're trying to build is to build off options off of what you do well, obviously. So if running the ball is something good at, how is the blocking and how is it progressing in your opinion?
I mean, it's getting better. Our offensive line's much improved. We still have a young offensive line. You know, biggest kids in the program are freshmen and sophomores. His little brother's 2.5 times the size of him, and he's a freshman.
Okay, give me some stats. 6'6".
He's 6'3", 6'4".
He's 6'3", like 280.
Yeah,
his freshman. Yeah,
his little freshman brother.
Yeah,
that's what I said.
And we got
freshman, huh?
Yeah,
and we got like I think 3 others just
Any
like
fighting
him in
at
that
the
same
table
grade.
for eating?
I ate more green beans. I don't know how he got the height, but
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's
Milk and everything too.
I'm sorry, Coach.
no, you're good. I try to not let his little brother pick on him at practice and stuff. So
That's crazy.
he's a big man, and we start 2 seniors in the offensive line, but everyone else is young, and they're getting tons better. A lot of that came down to just showing up in the off season and showing up this summer and getting in the weight room, and so we feel like they're getting better and better all the time. So it's confidence. It's hard to walk in there as a sophomore playing 6A2 football and realize that, hey, I'm a big, strong sophomore. I can get the job done when you're going against an 18-year-old grown man. But knowing that they can, and you know, we're trying to pump them full of confidence right now.
Sure.
Yep.
Sergio, I asked about short-term goals. Have you
Yeah.
had a chance to
Yeah,
process
yeah.
that? What you got for me, Sergio?
Okay.
What you got?
Okay, so what I would say is kind of building off of like the things that we see, like Coach was saying, you know, like the plays that we had that we seen, that like we were like, okay, yeah, we could do something off that. Like kind of building off of those things, like making those big plays when we need them to be made, so that we could build off and make more confident, like we've been trying to say.
The one thing I'm going to say to you guys is help your coach out here. Execute more than just 3 plays, so he doesn't have to just call the same 3 plays.
Yeah.
You know, that to me, that's something that you see because the communication's not working, nobody's listening, so we're stuck only running this portion of the offense.
Yeah.
Can't open it up. I can't run more of the defense if everybody is not on the same page. It just so communicate this week. I mean, if anything more, communicate so he can utilize the full game plan. Because I'm sure he's already talked to you guys about something. I'm sorry, Coach.
No,
Am I taking?
No.
Am I
Keep
taking?
rolling with it, man.
So that we can get more out of it. The more you get out of it, because as much as everybody says, they don't know how better that you are until you show them. So you have to show it so that they can see it. If you go out there and only want to only use 5 plays, then they're like, okay, yeah, and then that's the result you will get.
Yeah.
So in terms of, Coach, in terms of final thoughts, in terms of all the players who are coming through, who are learning, who are buying in, what encouraging things can you say to these kids, because they understand putting in the work, and they have yet to see the other side just yet, but it's coming. How do you continue to encourage them? What's some thoughts you say to these younger players who are coming in, because you're getting a higher turnout, more people are buying in, more folks are paying attention now? So tell me, talk to me about that.
Well, I mean, I think they see it. They can tell, these upperclassmen can tell that we're significantly better than we were last year and a whole lot better than we were 2 years ago. And these young guys are coming in and they're seeing it. They know where the program's been, but they're also looking around and seeing a lot of talent in the field. It's just from your freshman, sophomore, junior classes, a significant amount of it that will return. I've got awesome senior leadership that's really helping me build this thing, and they see it in the small stuff. They see it in how we practice. It's getting more efficient. It's getting better. They're seeing what we execute at practice. We went to ACAC. We played really well this year in that scrimmage. That first game of the season is no way going to define us on the year. We are going to put together a better season than we had last year, and it's just going to build every year. And the kids see it, though. I mean, I don't think I have to go out of my way to point it out to them.
Oh, that just sounded really good, Coach. I mean, guys, you guys are nodding your heads, so
No,
yeah,
yeah,
you got that. All right, guys. Well, we're about to run out of time today, so I'm going to wish you luck this week as you guys take on Southeast. Shock the world is what I want to say.
Yes,
and
sir.
it's not so much as shock the world, just play at your best and continue to surprise everybody on how good the Red Wolf football program is. This is going to wrap up this week's edition of the Oklahoma City Public School Coaches Show. Brought to you by Dick's Sporting Goods, Bedford Photography, Big O's Pork and Dreams, Impressions Printing, Metrotech Technology Center, Kai's Concepts, Perry Publishing and Broadcasting, and the Oklahoma City Dodgers. This is our last show for the month of August. We'll see you guys back on September 11th for the next edition of the show. Good night, Oklahoma.